we all want money still in nation, so this Cameron Heyward situation just got more complicated. In this video, Steel Nation, I'm going to talk about what I think about this, what the media is saying, and also feature a YouTube video from Cam talking about this. Everyone's talking about this situation right now. It is crazy. So if you like the content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Here is what Brooke said. Brooke tweeted this and said, asked if he was prepared to miss a regular season game as he tries to renegotiate his contract, Steelers DL, Cameron Heyward, said, I think there are definitely options out there that could reflect that. Now, before we get into too much, let's play his video and then let's talk about it.
Looking for my contract to be addressed. Honestly looking to be valued. In my eyes, when I look around and, at my position, I think I'm like, 22nd as a D-Tech on 36 as a D lineman. And, I know what I bring to this team and what I'm capable of on and off the field. And so it's hard for me to, have enough after the year I've had to really justify playing at the number I'm playing at. I understand I signed a contract last year. But to be completely honest with you, when I signed that, I told them, when I have an all-pro year, expect me to come back. And you can look at the contract and see what it was, but I think everybody kind of giggled a little bit, but in my head, I used it as motivation to go out there and prove it.
Cam, is this something you're willing to miss games over, possibly?
I think there are definitely, options out there that that could reflect that.
Here's what we know so far. Steel Nation, I've made many videos about this. I've done many lives about this, talking about Cameron Heyward. Here's what we know so far, or here's what I know so far. The fan base is not happy about this. The fan base is going after Cam. It's almost like they've just turned on him 110%. It's like, you know what, you're this, and this, you're washed, we don't want you here, get out of town. If you don't want to be a Steeler, see you later. I don't know if Cameron Heyward is playing the right game the right way, from my perspective. Now, I'm a huge Cameron Heyward fan. At the same time, though, right in training camp, right before preseason games, we're starting to get excited, very hyped about our team, and you hear Cameron Heyward, addressing this to the public and maybe his agents telling him to, trying to renegotiate a contract. And yes, he did sign a contract extension last year for a 2-year deal, right? That's what we know. And as he said in the video, he wants to restructure it because he played really good football, which he did in 2024 going into this year. And he wants to restructure his deal, maybe get an extension, I don't know. But at the same time, they just signed him for an extension. So it's very complicated, right? Now, one thing I don't agree with, and that is the fan base going after him, like hammer and tongs, turning from one of the best Steelers to ever play the game, to one of the Steelers legends, done so many things on and off the field. And at the same time, the fan base would just go after him, right? This is really between. We can observe, we can comment, we can have our take, we can do what we want to. But I don't like the personal attacks against Cam. He's a big man, he's a big, strong dude. He can figure it out himself as well. But he's also creating and digging a hole for himself. Now, I don't overly agree with his point where, like Brooke Price said, this may end really bad. This could be bad where I think there are definitely options out there that could reflect Cameron Heyward not playing this season. That would be crazy to see, all right? But I want to go over a few tweets that I saw in his press conference and talk about it, right? There was one here from Shelby Cassie. I think she works for the media out there. And she said, we talked to Cam. You just saw the video. He said the team asked him to take a pay cut in 2023, but eventually reached his current deal. Expect me to come back when I have an all-pro year, which he did. Now, this could, I'm seeing everything now. I'm trying to see both sides and trying to be rational. This could also set the president, set the normal standard for players doing this when they sign their contract, have a great year. Oh, we're gonna restructure it again. Now, you kind of signed your contract for 2 or 3 years. I understand that, but I also see the value from the player too. As Cameron Heyward said in his in the interview, He's like 22nd or 28th, like paid in the league. He's just trying to find value for what he brings to the team and get paid accordingly. But that doesn't go too well among the fans. Now, this may work out with the ownership, and I think like the Rooneys and Cameron Heyward could come to an agreement. But the fan base is sitting back thinking, fuck, mate, we just paid you, or not we, but the owners just paid you all this money, and you're already complaining and trying to get another deal. So I see it from that side as well. Dude, this is very, very, very interesting what's happening right now. Now, Shelby also had another tweet out here that said he notified the team in February, so he's been wanting a new deal, even though he just signed a 2-year extension. He said, it's hard for me, after the year I've had, to really justify playing at the number I'm playing at. So it looks like that Cameron Heyward is just not happy playing this year, even though he signed the contract. It's a little confusing. What does Cameron Heyward want? Does he want a better deal, a restructured deal, and then he's going to play football? Or if the Rooneys and the organization, they don't, what if they don't? What if the Steelers don't restructure his contract? Does that mean Cameron Heyward's going to hold out? This thing is getting more interesting day by day. Because he's not in doing any practice, he's not playing any games. He's in the facility, he's doing a hold-in, but he's not partaking in any activities. And there was no noise this season. There was a bit of Rodgers noise, there was a bit of George Pickens noise, but there was no real noise going into the regular season and preseason football. And what a great game it was for the young guys to step up and the receivers and all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that later on the live. But it is interesting to see and to note that Cameron Heyward is really, he's telling the public and the media he's unhappy. He wants to be paid what he values where he is in this team on and off the field. But at the same time, he just got a contract, right? It's very tough. I'm trying to see both sides. And also at the same time, I don't want to personally attack Cameron Heyward because he's an absolute legend of the Steelers game. We could all agree on that. I've seen comments in there that were saying, I respect Cam, Cam's a great Steeler footballer, but I feel disappointed. And somewhat you can feel a little bit disappointed in the player that is Cam, where he already got his extension. He needs to try and honor that contract. And why is he doing it already? He's got 2 years left. Play it out, and then next year renegotiate your contract going into 38, 39 years of age, like almost near 17 years in the league. Time is running out for Cameron Heyward. I find this story very interesting for a few things. It's interesting because the player and the organization has to figure something out, right? With Cam's contract, they need to figure this out before they make it a big deal and it gets all crazy. And if he holds in or holds out and doesn't play this year, that would be totally insane. I find that interesting. I also find that Cameron Heyward, the fact that he signed the contract, he's got 2 years left in his deal, is already going back to it. Like he said, I had an all-pro year and I feel like I want to get paid for it. Well, then why didn't he sign a contract that was a 1-year deal, right? And the third thing that I find it's like owner, player, and fan. I find very interesting and just how Steeler Nation does this stuff. Some of Steeler Nation, not everyone, but some of Steeler Nation are absolutely going after Cam, as if to say the last 15 years never existed. I don't like that angle. Not a huge fan of the fan base going after him, saying, screw him, stuff him, send him away, we don't need you. But at the same time, Cameron Heyward is absolutely digging a hole that he keeps digging deeper and deeper. It's business on a business level. He's trying to get a restructured contract. But at the same time, as he does that, the fan base on social media, the fan base in Latrobe, the fan base in Heinz Field are all starting to go after him. It's very wild, dude. It's very crazy. Hopefully they can sort it out. Hopefully that they do come to an agreement where they do maybe a roster bonus or something happens, right? Something needs to be sorted out soon because going into the season, we don't need any more distractions for this team. I thought that Rodgers was going to be a distraction. And it turns out right now, the player that Cameron Heyward said, do you want to be a Steeler or not, is actually the distraction right now. It's crazy. It is crazy. Anyway, Steeler Nation, if you enjoyed that little video, make sure you subscribe and like to the content. Leave comments below. Right now, it is Cameron Heyward and the organization. They've been apparently trying to restructure a deal since February, and the media's picked it up. The fan base picked it up, and a lot of the fan base are going absolutely after Cam. And that's the one thing I don't agree with, but at the same time, the more this goes on and the longer it goes, you probably can't blame them. But I'm not a fan of that, and I won't do that. I will not throw Cameron Heyward under the bus. I will be an observer on the outside, seeing Cameron Heyward try to restructure, and also seeing what the organization and owners, Art Rooney and Omar Khan, does in that circumstance. They don't want to lose him. They don't want to lose Cameron Heyward to sit out or sit in. They don't want to trade him away. They want Cameron Heyward there to be a Steeler. On the field, he definitely is worth his value. And as he said, he's rated like 22nd or 28th. At the same time, though, you go around in circles. He signed the contract at last year. Very, very, very. It's a very complicated situation, and I'm glad that I don't have to deal with it. All I have to do is just talk about it. All right, Steeler Nation. I'll see you guys. In about a few hours. Time for the live on Steelers Nation Australia.